Hi guys, today I'm gonna do a quick get ready with me. To begin, I just kind of, I use this Flawless, like little, I don't know what you call these things, like whatever, razor or whatever, and I just kind of did my eyebrows. Just kind of keep the shape. I do this a couple times a week just to kind of keep my shape. And then sometimes I'll go in and tweeze as well. But so to start, that was one thing I went ahead and did. So I always start with my eyebrows and then I kind of go to the face from there. So I like to start by just kind of taking the brush and brushing these out, sticking with that shape. And then I'm using the Urban Decay brow blade here. This is, I think, Brunette Betty is the, Brunette Betty is the color. So this is double-sided. I always open the wrong side. I always start with the side that has the tip like this, and I just kind of go over the outline of my brow there. So let's see. I never do the inside because I want that to be natural. When you kind of box out your entire eyebrow, it looks like really fake, and then it's very obvious that you did your eyebrows. I like to try to make it a little more natural. So I just stick with 3 sides. So I'm just kind of defining it. It's almost like making the outline so that it's easier to color in. So after I've done the wet side, I go to this side, which you can see there, and I just trace back over what was the wet. And this part goes a little quicker because I've already really done the outline. So from here, I'll also use this side, and you see how there's kind of like a line there that I'll just kind of fill in. Okay. So then the other thing I do, and I just go one eyebrow at a time, is I'm using, I think this is Anastasia. This is chocolate, and this is the dip brow. So then I'll take this edge of my brush, and I just kind of get a little bit onto my brush here. And then I just kind of go into my eyebrow from here, and this just kind of gives me more color and helps me kind of fill in some spaces. Again, I try to avoid too much, and then I kind of will take this part of the brush and kind of comb it out. So you can see the difference in my eyebrows. This is just more defined, but it still looks pretty natural considering that this is my regular eyebrow with nothing done to it. So I'm just gonna go to my other eyebrow and repeat the steps. Shady. Sorry, it's my dog. Shady. Enough! Clearly, I'm at my home. We are in quarantine after all. So, Plus, I don't know where you do your makeup, but I do my makeup at home. So, which I don't have anything to go to today, so just doing my makeup for the fun of it, because what else is there to do during quarantine? I'm a school teacher, so I'm just kind of in the summer hanging out. Okay, now that my eyebrows are done, I'm gonna go ahead and then start with my face. So I need to kind of put my flyaways back so I'm not getting makeup into those. And so I always start with a primer. Today I'm going to use my favorite primer, which is by MAC. And so I'm just going to take a little bit here. Woo! Why is this squirting on me? Okay. And I just kind of blend it through my face. I'm going to especially target my nose and my forehead, my T-zone, just because I have gotten a lot of sun recently, and those areas are like really dry for me. So that's where I want most of my primer to be. I also like to just take a little bit. Of course, it's not going to come out a little bit. And just kind of dab the tops of my eyelids. If I'm going to be putting on eyeshadow that day, it just helps your eyeshadow color come out a lot brighter. And like almost like your eyebrows like take it better. So that's what I've at least noticed. So I just put a little bit on there. All right. I am using Kat Von D Lock-It foundation. And this is Light 48 Neutral. Now, because it's summertime, this is a little too light. So I like to mix in this Liquid Chrome Illuminating Drops by Suva, S-U-V-A. And this is Trust Fund. So I like to mix this in a little bit, and I just use like these cheap little white pads to kind of put my foundation and this in, and then I kind of like swirl it around on the pad, and then I'm going to use a beauty blender to actually apply it to my face. So that's the method I've been going with lately. In the past, I have used a brush to put on foundation, and that works well. I just really like using the beauty blender because there's so much I can do with it. I like to have this pointy side, and I like to have the buffer side so that I can kind of be, you know, patting and then buffing. So I like that there's more than one way to apply it. Whereas you're using the brush, it's kind of just one way unless you use multiple brushes. So I'm just kind of dropping a little bit of this onto, and I'll show you what this looks like. What's really awesome about this is a lot of times I don't have to use a lot of highlighter because I don't know if you can tell, there's just like, it's like super shiny. So you can kind of see maybe the two different colors on there and how that this right here is very shiny, whereas like that's the foundation. So I just kind of like do like that. And then when I'm putting it on the beauty blender, I try to just get a little bit of both, make sure I'm getting that. And yeah, it will give a nice shine, you'll see. And when I have more of that shiny on the beauty blender, you'll notice that part of the face is shinier. So I try to make it even. So I'm just taking the tip and I'm just going in and putting a little bit on my beauty blender so I can start. Oh. Okay, so I always try to make sure I get it up because sometimes I'll take this off and then there's a clear difference in the color. So I try to make sure I get it up into my hairline and get that part of your skin that shows up there. So as you can see, I look very pale, but we'll keep going. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I use the Tarte Shape Tape as my concealer. So my dark areas are, of course, under my eyes. And especially on this eye, for some reason, I get this dark spot right on the side. So I really try to target there. This eye's not too bad today. And then just like where my freckles are still kind of popping through the foundation. I mean, of course, I love my freckles and I want to look natural, but I might just, the darker ones kind of go back over. And then for some reason, right above my eyebrows, I don't do a very good job of getting foundation in here. So I just kind of put my concealer there. And sometimes under my chin, I won't do a great job with my foundation. So I'll kind of come at it there. Oops. I gotta cover that guy up more. But my moles, sometimes I cover them up more and sometimes I'm like, that's my beauty spot, so I'll leave them. Now, when I'm blending this in some spots I'll use the Beauty Blender, but I mostly, especially for the under eye area, I like to use this brush. Now it's super beat up, but I like that it has this, it's hard to tell, but it's like a slant to it. So I like that. And anyways, it's a great brush. So, oh, and this is R&L, I believe. Yeah, R&L Moda Pro. And I really like these brushes. So I like this because I kind of am doing this patting motion into the skin. And I'll do that especially right here where there's that under eye area, and then I just kind of help by patting, like blend it into the foundation so it's not so much lighter than the foundation to where it looks kind of like crazy. So I'll do that. Occasionally I'll come up even into the eyelid with it, especially if I've just put too much there. I kind of don't know where else to go. I'll kind of come up the nose, go down, and occasionally go into almost like using it as a base for your eyeshadow. Now that I did that, I better do this one so that they're even. And if I didn't look like a ghost before, I definitely will now. I noticed some spots on my nose that were a little dark, so I'm just kind of coming at those. You can see I need to blend a little bit better there. Okay, and then like I said, sometimes I'll use this, and then sometimes I'm just gonna go at the back end of the Beauty Blender and use that. This really needs to be blended in, so it kind of looks crazy. Okay, that's better. All right. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is my eyeshadow. The Morphe eyeshadows are hit or miss. I find, so sometimes I use those. They do have good colors, but the colors don't always come out really great. So, if you have time on your hands and you want to kind of play around and you have time to apply, I have one of the Morphe eyeshadow palettes that I'll use. This is 35W, and it does have a good array of colors. I really like to use browns and pinks, so I like the shades that this one provides. And then there's some funner colors, some sparkly, some purples. I really like the like burnt orange or like marigold, so those are fun to put on some days. I'm actually not gonna go with that today though. I like to, on a day where it's kind of like you're quick, you don't really have a lot of time, I like to use just like a naked palette. This one, you know, it just has my basic my basic colors. This is all that I use regularly anyway. So I'm going to go into this today, and this is a Naked 2 palette. I don't know if it's a specific one. I don't think so. But the colors that I have here, you can see are Skimp. I don't know if you can read these. Stark, Frisk, Cover, Primal, and the last one is Undone. So those are my shades there. I always start with the first one, the Skimp. So I'm just going to take a brush like this, and I did already kind of do a base with my concealer, but I'm just going to kind of come at this and just make sure that that's evened out, and I have a good base with this Skimp. Then my favorite brush, which is basically the ends of your tools like this, but I just have one that's like this. It doesn't have the end, but this is my favorite brush to use. I always go with like a, whatchamacallit, the I want to call it Shadow Eye, but that's not what it is. Anyways, I think you know what I'm talking about. It will come to me in a moment. My dog is barking at me. So anyways, I'm just going to go into the Primal shade. That's the second darkest one. I find that it is dark enough, especially on a day where it's just a regular day. This is generic makeup day. And so I will take the tip, and I'm just going to kind of draw a line of that Shadow Eye. Why? I know that's not the word. I don't know what's wrong with me. So anyways, I don't know if you can see, I'm kind of drawing a line down. I like to kind of come into my eyelashes with it. My dog is just making these dry bark sounds. Like it's like pretend barking. Like, maybe I'm gonna bark, maybe I'm not. So now that I've kind of got that going, I'm gonna come and kind of just basically draw into my eye, kind of creating the shape there. Why can't I think of what it's called? I don't even know what's wrong with my brain. Now, you have to be really good about blending. So I use a brush like this to blend this out, because if not, it's gonna really look like you drew it, and you don't want it to like look completely drawn on. So try to kind of blend it out. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. There we go. So that looks pretty good. Sometimes I'll go back and do a little more. So now I have to repeat on the other eye, and that is the difficult part. So I'm gonna do the same steps here. I'm sitting here trying to think what it's called, and I just can't. I'm sure you guys know, and you're like, girl, it's not Shadow Eye. Okay, so now I'm gonna blend this guy. Shady enough with your false sparking. Like, what is wrong with you, honey? Okay. So, this one looks a lot darker, so I need to get some more going here. Okay. Yeah, so that's better. Okay, the last thing I'm going to do is kind of take this brush and go into the Frisk. At first I was like, I don't know about this shade, but then when I put it on my eye and with my skin tone, it just looks so good. And I can't even explain it. It just like really rounds out the color and just really looks great. I adore it. On the palette, it doesn't look natural. It looks like, I don't know, a weird shade. But when I put it on, I'm like, oh, that actually looks really great. It's kind of got like a cool tone to it. All right, so just a basic eye here, and that's my normal look. I always do the shadow eye. Why can't I think what it's called? Anyways, okay. Oh, one last step, and I almost always forget it before I put my eyeshadow away, is I'm going to take this brush again. I'm going to go into that darker color, the Primal, and I'm just going to, under my eyelash, my waterline, just kind of really light, really skinny. You do not want it thick. And I only go about halfway to 3/4 through the eye. And it's just kind of giving you that look as if you are going to put on eyeliner on the bottom. And this is a good time to check up on your concealer under your eye, because by now it might be doing weird things into your like wrinkles, and I just kind of will pat it up. Sometimes I'll take this brush back in and kind of do that, or I'll even get this brush again and come back at it. Sometimes this will still have like leftover concealer, and it's just a good little pat. Or when I'm completely done with my eyes, I'll go in and just kind of make sure we're good, because sometimes like the residue of the eyeshadow and the mascara and eyeliner and stuff will kind of start to come back down here, and I don't want that. So clean it up and it will look great. Okay, so now I'm completely done with the eyeshadow, and I'm going to get into my other eye makeup. So I'm going to get, this is just a wet eyeliner. This one specifically is Ico London brand, Black Magic. I got this out of my Ipsy box. So pretty much all of these, I find, as long as the brush is long enough, they all work the same in my opinion. I haven't found one that's greater than another, just as long as the brush is long enough. I've had one where the brush is just too short, and it's like then the actual part of the utensils getting in the way of making a nice line, and I found that was obnoxious. So as long as the brush is, and this isn't even that long, as long as it's long enough, it's good. So I like to do this before mascara, because I find that if I do it, I'm gonna close this while I'm talking. If I do it after the mascara, then as I'm doing it, I'm like dragging my eyelashes, and then they all are getting like clumped with the mascara on, and I'm like, and it just doesn't look good. So anyways, I always do the eyeliner on top before my mascara. So I'm gonna go ahead and just do that. Chady, now look, you made me mess up. A lot of times if you mess up, you can find a way to kind of get it without just wiping off your makeup and starting over, unless it's like too bad of a mess up. And then once you put your mascara on as well, you're not going to notice that there's like a little mistake. So I'm not going to do anything drastic. I just go to the end, and sometimes I'll go a little off the end. Sometimes you might want to pull it to get a really straight line, so it's not in those creases like breaking up. I'm not going to do a dramatic wing or anything like that. I just want a basic eyeliner. I want a basic look, in my opinion. This is basic, but maybe this is a little dramatic for you. Okay. then sometimes I just pat the end if I went too far or whatever. I'll kind of rub it into, that's why if you have like a shadow eye, you can kind of like rub it into that because it's already dark there anyways. So that's nice if you did that kind of a look with your eyeshadow. I'll just kind of rub it in and then you don't really notice too much. The other thing is I like to make sure the insides are where I want them. Sometimes I go deeper and more of a cat look, and other times I don't like that. So I kind of went pretty far down on that. Okay, so that's done. I'm gonna get my eyelash curler, just a basic eyelash curler here. Sometimes, so okay, the mascara I'm using is Sally's brand Collab. And this is my favorite. I think it's called, Love Your Curves, I think is what it's called. They also have a lash primer. So occasionally I'll use this. I'm not going to use it today. I don't think it's necessary. My eyelashes are pretty clean, but like maybe if you had mascara on from earlier in the day and you're kind of refreshing for the evening, you might want to go at it, because the thing with the primer is it has a good brush. It has two sides. So one, oh God, it's hard to see it. One is more chunky and this one's like a little skinnier. Hard to see. But it will kind of like brush out your eyelashes and kind of get clumps out, which is nice. Okay. This is always the nerve-wracking part, that I don't get the mascara up on my eyelid and mess up my eyeshadow, especially on days when you do like a crazy eyeshadow look with like 17 shades. And of course, always just get a little saliva off your finger and rub it out. That's all I do. Sometimes I'll go at it with a Q-tip. So I have really short eyelashes, or what I feel is really short eyelashes. Maybe they're just really average eyelashes. And they're finicky. Like some days they look great. Usually fresh out of the shower is the best. And other days it's like not as great. And today is like average to good day, I'd say. It's pretty good. I showered last night, so maybe that's why. They never look good when you have old mascara left over. That's always the worst. Ugh. Fake barking. He's like, I'm gonna bark a little bit, so if there is something going on, these people know what's up, and if it's not, well, I didn't bark that loud to get yelled at by mom. It's like an in-between bark. This dog. Okay, of course the left eyelashes don't want to do as great, but I always have one eye do better than the other. They're never like equal. There's one that's always just slightly better or a lot better. And that drives me nuts. Okay. You can see. All right. now the eyes are done. So again, like I said, sometimes I'll kind of go in and refresh. Sometimes I'll just completely put more concealer on the brush and do it. I feel like it's good today, so I don't need to worry. All right, so I am now going to use this Morphe palette. This I love. This is Lo-Fi 8L, the highlight contour palette. The only thing I use from it is this one block of contour or bronzer, whatever, donut. I literally don't even use the others. I've tried some of them, but I buy this just for the donut. It's so sad. But I'll show you my highlighter and why I use that one over the highlighters in Morphe. You'll see. The highlighter is amazing. It's my favorite thing. Okay. So, I have these Morphe by Jeffree Star brushes, and they're all full. I have not had time to research and find new brushes. I just deal with these. I mean, they work, but like the bristles are, I don't even know how to tell. They like just stick out. They're like kind of coarse on my skin, like, ugh. But they work. I mean, they do the job. So they're just not that pretty. Like, they're pretty, but like as soon as you use them, they just start to kind of fall apart. You can tell, not that great. So I'm just going in. I like to make it kind of darker, closer to the side of your face, and then bring it in. Layering is the best, so you're gonna want to, I always make the fish face to so kind of find my line. Layering is better, so you just keep going back at it. And you're gonna be like, I look like the Joker. Like, I look like the Joker. Like, I have this, like, the, whatever, smile, like, ripped smile. But don't worry, we won't let it stay that way. Okay, so pretty good. I like to put some up on the sides of the forehead, especially in the summertime when I'm typically darker and I look so pale with my foundation that I have to add in color. Even like on a day of like just light makeup, I like still need to contour because I just need that color in my face, or otherwise putting foundation on, I look like a ghost. So it's either I go full face or I just do my eyes or no makeup. In the summertime, it's hard. You can't just like throw on some foundation, concealer, and eyes and call it a day. Like, no, you have to in the summer contour, at least I do. Or you found a foundation that matches better, that you can have like a summer foundation and winter foundation, but I don't do that. Okay, sometimes I will contour my nose. I'll just do it today so you can see. I'm using a smaller brush for this, and I'm just kind of drawing a line on the side of my nose. You can see it coming. So it's kind of from the bridge down, and then towards the end, I kind of come at an angle inwards. And this you're really gonna wanna buff out, or else people will be like, why'd you draw lines on your face? But we'll do that at the end. Okay, so that's enough of the donut. Put that away. Time for my favorite. This is the best Ipsy find ever. Ofra, O-F-R-A. Okay, looks like an oyster shell. It is the best. This is called Rodeo Drive. And it's the best highlighter ever. Okay, so I'm going to use this medium brush. See, this was the other one. And this is the small one. There they are, 3 in a row. Okay, so I'm going to use the medium one for this. And I do most of my highlighter stuff with this brush. Like I said, this what I mixed in, it already is giving me a shiny glow. So I don't want to do too much, especially on the forehead. I just kind of go pretty light. In the center, I just want like a little bit of this. I'm just like kind of lightly brushing my forehead. I don't want to get too crazy. Now I will go a little, I will definitely put the highlighter on the nose because I definitely want that to come out and all the way down onto my Cupid's brow, my chin. I want to really make sure. I like to even get it on the lip. There's something I forgot to do. So usually when I'm doing my foundation at the very beginning, which I totally forgot, I will put on like a lip oil. This is Cab, which is like gross. It's by KAB, Cab. Kim Zolciak. I don't know if you know who that is. She was a Real Housewife of Atlanta, and she married an Atlanta, Georgia, the football team, Falcons, player. And they have a show on Bravo called Don't Be Tardy. Anyways, this is her brand of lip oils. Let me see what it's called. I can't quite tell because it's all around. Rum Punch lip oil is the color I picked out. So usually at the beginning, I'll put either this or like, if you have like, I don't know, so a gloss, not a gloss, a chapstick or something that's like really good for your lips. I like to do the like oil or like a lip gloss that is really like hydrating at the beginning, mind you. That way the whole time you're putting on your face, you have, your lips are like getting hydrated. I have super dry, super tiny lips, and they're just always dry. So when I am putting on like lipstick or whatever later on, my lips are so dry. And sometimes I just go with the gloss. Like I just stick with this because it's just easier. And that's what I'm going to do today because I don't feel like doing a whole lip thing. And again, I'm trying to go with like an easier look. So yeah, I usually try to do that back when I'm doing my foundation so that if I want to do a lip thing, I can just wipe this off at the end, but my lips have been hydrating this whole time, and then they're gonna, you know, take to the lipstick better. Okay, so I did my forehead and stuff. That looks good, but yeah, I like to kind of put a little bit on the lip right on the top, and I just think it looks really cute. That's all. And then I'm gonna come at almost like if you're a football player, like where you would put your black liner, whatever that stuff is called, to block out the sun that they wear. And then I like to kind of make like a L shape, and I go up the side. That's what I do. Of course, other people do put their highlighter on a bit differently. I find that this is what works for me. I'm also noticing on the side of my face where I told you it always gets dark. It like is really like coming down. And I mean, the type of makeup that I chose to do with the shadow, that's not what it's called. I thought it would come to me by now. I'm just gonna come back at it with a little bit of concealer. I want that cleared up. Sometimes if I got too wild with the eyeshadow, you can even just use the brush to kind of go back and like erase your mistakes, which is nice. But okay, I just noticed that as I was putting my highlighter on, I didn't like the way that looked. Resume highlighter. Okay, so I'm pretty good here. And then I like to take the smallest brush and I like to do a little under my eyebrow on the edges. And I like to go at the very start of your eye. That's my favorite place to put highlighter. Sometimes I'll even start to pull it into the eyeshadow, and it just looks so good. It's like, I like the way it makes your eyes look when you do that. Okay, done with the highlighter. Now I'm gonna go into blush. And I'm using Tarte brand Double Duty Beauty Makeover Moment Count. Okay, make every moment count. This is the cheek palette. So when you open it up, you've got 3 colors: Live, Learn, and Love. Love is my favorite. So I'm just gonna take a fluffy brush and go at that. You really don't need a lot of this. Like, that's plenty. You just, like, that's plenty. You really don't need to put a lot on. Very little. Whereas I also have another blush I like to use is this NARS. Of course, Orgasm, everybody has, right? And this, I find you really do need to put more on. Whereas with this Tarte one, you gotta be very conservative. Because a little goes a long way and you don't wanna have these rosy, rosy cheeks. Okay. Last thing is, what's the brand of this? Ciate London. This is Extraordinary Translucent Powder. So I'm going to take a different, fluffier brush, even bigger, and I like to just get a little powder on there and kind of blend out now so that you don't look like a crazy person. You don't have this crazy blush. Your contour isn't insane. And people are like, you just drew brown eyes on yourself. I definitely want to get the nose because I contoured that nose. And I don't want it to look crazy. Like, I drew lines on it. Though I will say, not leaving the house and just doing, like, videos, it's a lot harder to tell that, like, I drew lines on. So for like video production and stuff, you might not want to buff out as much. But if you're in person, seeing people, they're definitely going to notice in person, and I wouldn't want to look too crazy. So I might buff more. Okay. And that looks great to me. So, like I said, I'm not going to do my lips today. I'm just going to stick with this gloss, especially because I started so late and my lips are having a pretty dry day, so I don't want to add to the dryness by putting like a Kylie on or something. So the last thing I'll do is use this Morphe Continuous Setting Spray. Close my eyes and my mouth. Squirt that on. And then I am ready to go for the day. Face on, looking fabulous. All right, guys, have a good one.